is if we're doing like something out in the freaking park or something like that, you know. But
Yeah.
maybe when it's like a big, when it's like a big stage and the crowd, the sound gets drowned out. With these, boom, right in my ear, and I'm good, you know.
So they help.
Yeah, because it's basically like you have headphones on. You're hearing your track in your ears compared to if you're on stage, they hear it, but like they're hearing it from a different angle. So like when you're on stage, it's pushing out
Yeah.
and say they're singing along and all that, it starts drowning out. So then you start fading out. Your music starts fading out for you, not for them, but for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then if you have these in, it's in your ears the whole time. There's
It,
no, it's literally like you have like the head.
and it's right on point.
Exactly. Yeah, it's playing the same time that it's playing on the PA. It's playing in your ears, so you have crisp, clear sound in your ears.
You don't have any extra ones for the show, do you?
I don't. I only got
Well,
a one.
I'll get
I only
my.
got a
I'll
body
get.
pack. I will send you the link of the one I got. It was like it might have been. It was a little less than 200. But let me share this out really quick. Let me share out to all of my destinations. Um.
Yeah, because I'm waiting on something in May.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So I'm sharing this. Thank you, Ellie, for sharing the website as well as my merch site as well.
Dude, I've been posting about shows. Like, there's nothing going on right now.
There's not. Ellie's trying to do the same thing too. There's just we're in that season of where we're getting ready. Most of these events are going to start happening through the summer, you know. So
Yeah,
that's kind of like where we're at right now. Um,
dude, I've been posting on Facebook like every couple days. Like, if there's any shows, let me know. There's nothing. I know. I have the one I did last week. He said Tyrion. He said that he has a show in May, June, and July, like smaller ones.
okay.
But
All right, so I think I got there. I just need to go in. What's up, everybody? If you guys are hopping on, please drop a comment. Let us know that you're in the building and share this live out as always.
and please follow me and Jared Blaine.
Absolutely, we got a great show for y'all tonight. A great topic.
And I got a crazy story, inspirational story to tell also.
Oh, let me find my thing real quick. At everyone. So what's going on, everybody? If you guys are hopping in, again, drop a comment. Let us know you're in the building. Share the live out. Make sure you follow us. Bam Nation. That's what we're gonna do here.
And if you're on here, we set the release date for the new song Hollow, the rock song. It's like a Linkin Park type beat. It's my first rock song that I got on. It's really good. I was really impressed with how Jared did that song. It's great.
Yeah.
Wait.
I love that vibe. That is technically it's the third one, but I only released one so far. The other one I'm waiting for for vocals to come back on the chorus from my boy. So that's on the album. That one's not going to get dropped until the album drops, and then of course this one. So this will be the second one. Yeah, Ellie said most of the responses she gets is, we keep you in mind for next year. And see, that's the thing, Maddie, is that most people, they already book out, they book like the year prior for the next year. So a lot of stuff that we're going to get that she's going to, getting is for next year, next summer. That's why it's cool to kind of have the shows that I already have set up right now, is because most of them are going to be for next year.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I can pretty much get like smaller events. Like it's not too hard because they come, like Lancaster is good for that, and I'm kind of got in with the right couple people that do a lot of events. But there's just nothing right now. The bigger ones is the ones that's hard to get.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's kind of like what we're gonna have to do for the rest of the year is kind of fill in for with these smaller stuff.
Yeah.
As you know, like I said, I've got 3 big ones this year, which is Orlando in 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's 2 weeks away. Orlando in 2 weeks, Georgia in June 28th, and then Wisconsin, the one that we're going to be at together. Those are the 3 biggest ones that I have this year. Everything else we're going to try to get is just going to be small stuff, maybe speaking at like a treatment facility or like a Celebrate Recovery or something like that. So
yeah, I could probably get a couple rehabs. I didn't even think about that. I could get a hold of a couple people and probably get a couple rehabs.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You want to?
No, I was just I see people hopping in again. So drop a comment. Let us know that you're in the comments, and then share the live out. Tonight's topic is for Mind Over Matters, the power of perspective. How to change your mind, how changing your mindset changes your life. And the one thing the one quote that I want to build off of tonight is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I'm going to say it again for the people who didn't quite get that or understand that. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's very, very, and it's, it is accurate, very accurate. We change our perception on things. And when we change our perception, then everything else starts changing, in our mindset. So, yeah, so really we're just kind of like we're going to dive down, on how like our perspective like shapes our reality, how we see things, it can either trap us or it can free us. What's up, Andrea? Thank you for hopping in. And this is with anything, bro. This is life. This is recovery, mental health, feeling stuck. It's just whatever, but it's just that whole mind shift, that whole mindset shift.
Yeah. Do you want me to respond on that?
Yeah, you can.
We're ready to go.
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
All right. So I got a crazy story, something that happened to me. And I think it's a good story to start off this whole live. It's super inspiring. It was a huge shock to me. So like I've always been like open about my questionability about God. And somebody had hit me, a friend of mine had hit me up and asked me to go to church 2 weeks ago. Something happened and I wasn't able to go. But I ended up going yesterday. I ended up going to church. So I go on the way there. I was talking to my friend about how I question God and stuff. So when I get to church, we go in and we sit down, and like 5 minutes after I sat down, they put up on the big screen. They put my name up on the big screen, Matthew, because they were reading out of the book of Matthew. But it was a huge eye opener for me because the whole sermon was about money and fame and living your life as money and fame is your savior rather than God, and how you should promote positivity and positive messages, but also about God and share God with people. So it like really hit me because I'm like, everything he's saying just felt like it was towards me, And then they had my name up on the big screen for 20 minutes. I'm like, and the fact that it got canceled the week before, it was like he was setting me up for that day to hear that. So when I end up leaving, as I'm walking out, the preacher comes up to me and he hands me a book, and it says The God Questions. And I was just like, whoa. So today we went out to the coffee shop. We go out to the coffee shop and we're sitting at the coffee shop, and there was this guy sitting at the table, and me and her were sitting at the same table, and a text thing from the church came up on her phone. It like notified her phone, and it said Matthew, and then it said something about money, positivity, etc. And like something told her to show it to the guy that was sitting next to us. We didn't even talk to him yet, but she showed it to him and was like, I think this could help you. And the guy was like, oh, what church do you go to? And she was like, such and such. And the guy was like, oh my God, that's my church, you know? And it was just crazy. Like, it's like God was calling me, like, because he knows how valuable, like, he knows how valuable I can be to so many people with what I'm doing. And it's like all he wants me to do is continue to do what I'm doing, but add his message in intertwined in with what I'm doing. You know, so it was just the whole timing, everything, it was just crazy. It shocked me.
Yep. I mean, you know, but like I said yesterday when you told me the story, you know, like you know, God can work wonders, you know, and it's funny, but it all again, this kind of ties in with perspective, you
Yeah.
know, on changing our perspectives. And you know, how do we define the perspective? You know, how, you know, it's how we interpret situations, you know, people like ourselves, you know. I know for sure, like trauma and addiction, like mental health, all that can distort the way that we see the world. Um, and sometimes we need that sign, kind of like how you had that kind of pull us back to reality, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, you know, it's just one of those things. And so it's just like you know, another quote that I see that I want to say is two people can go through the same thing and come out completely different because of perspective. So it's funny, you know, Brianna always quotes this song, you know, that Lil Wayne and Drake did, you know, and it's like, we in the same house, but we got different views, you know,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what it is, bro. It's like you can
Yeah.
put one thing, you can put one thing right in front of us, and two people are gonna look at it and they're gonna see two completely different things because of their perspective.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all about the way that we view the world, that we view life, that we view what anything, you know, and that's in our personal life.
Yeah.
That's whatever, you know.
Yeah,
So
dude, like
I think
I,
that's what it was for you.
yeah. And I know I go back to my trauma a lot, but that I feel like a lot of that stuff needs to be said, like to help. First off, it helps me to express myself, and for two, people, I think people need to hear stuff like this. But
Mm.
it's like, you know, like when I was growing up, there was a lot of like tension and abuse and violence, so it impacted my perception on life, you
Yeah.
know. Like, so I have complex PTSD, so it's like complex PTSD is multiple, like I have all the different areas of trauma throughout a long period of time, like over and over, so it's complex. And like it really played like a role in my perception on life. And you know, like I can be walking, like I still do this sometimes, like if I'm walking down an alleyway and it's dark, if I come up to like like a curve, I won't walk like right next to the curve. I'll walk out a little bit in case somebody like jump, like it's like I perceive the world as an unsafe place, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, so yeah, it's hard, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. You know, it's like, you know, we all can use an excuse that how we act in like this certain situation. A lot of people use the excuse, well, that's how I was raised, or that's how I grew up. And yeah, that factors into it, but there becomes a point where we have to own that shit, and I'm not saying yours, I'm just saying in general. There's a point where we can't sit here and say I'm an asshole because that's how I was treated growing up. Well, at some point, right from wrong. So you can change that mentality. That's your perception. And that's the difference between a victim mindset and like in a victor mindset, is literally, we know that, like, we understand when we can we're listen, we're all adults, we can only blame us being pieces of shit on our past for so long before we are the ones to break that generational curse. So with that, with like a victim mindset, it's, we're blaming other people, we're feeling powerless, we're saying I can't more than I will, and then when we move into the whole victor mentality, we own that shit. Like I am an asshole now because I'm an asshole now, not because, you know what I'm saying? Or you see your struggle as, the setup for growth, or we believe that change is possible. So it just gets to a point where it's like, we got to change that mentality in life on how we grew up, to now. I see a lot of people, bro, using that victim mentality to just move on in life, and they blame them for being a piece, just blame everybody else for your problems. But have you stopped to think maybe you're the problem? Not you, Maddie, but humans in general.
Yeah, it's like a lot of that comes from being invalidated throughout your life. And I've heard I learned this in recovery. Like if you don't feel validated, then you're not around the right people, and the more that, me and you've been talking for a while, and you haven't done me wrong, I haven't done you wrong. Like, we're good people, you can find good people, and the more that you put yourself in, we spend our lives in addiction, like putting ourselves, like a lot of my stuff didn't come from other people. It started off from other people, but I continued the cycle by getting into addiction and putting myself in positions that hurt me, for people to hurt me. And it was my fault,
Right. Yeah.
The more that I put myself around you and other positive people that I surround myself with now and talk to, the more that I've started to perceive life differently. And I can see, like, as you put yourself in a different environment, you start to get like a different mindset, and then you start to perceive the world for the other side of the world, because we always lived on the devil's side,
right.
Like, once you get over on the God side, it's like you start to perceive the world in that way.
Yeah. What's up, Sabrina? Ellie, quit being an ass, please. She's an asshole, so she's being an ass right now. She says I'm an ass too, no worries. She is an ass.
What's up, Ellie?
Is that serious enough? So what kind of tools do we have, or what kind of tools can we use to shift our perspective? I know for me, and y'all can answer in the question in the comments too. For me is practicing like daily gratitude. Like I never really used to do daily gratitudes, and then last year, I made a really, really good friend in the podcasting world, and we had a show together, and he was one of the biggest supporters, and he passed away, unfortunately, in October. But at the end of every show that we did together, we did like 20 something shows together. And we always ended with daily gratitudes. And so for me, I never did it up until then. And I started doing daily gratitudes since. And that definitely has changed my perception. And then also reframing like my mindset with failure. Like instead of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I failed at this. It's like, all right, what did I learn? Like, what did I learn? What did I learn not to do? What did I learn that I could do better? Like the way that I look at it, I don't think failure is technically failure anymore. Like you just keep going until you get it, like till you succeed. I don't know. So that's me changing my perception and my mindset on the word failure. I'm not a failure. It just means it's not yet.
You might not be where you want to be, but
exactly.
You're way further than you were a couple years ago.
Exactly.
Like you're not there's people out there that's homeless, eating out of dumpsters right now, and we have a roof over our head. Like I was on a live yesterday or 2 days ago, and I asked this question to them. I was like, when they say don't quit before the miracle, like what would you consider the miracle? Like the miracle to me, the miracle is the fact, for you, for example, like, you have a good girlfriend, you have a roof over your head, you found your passion, you help other people, and you have a job. Like there's millions of people out there that don't have that. So like the more that you can appreciate, like, just being sober is like, dude, being sober is amazing. I remember every day I was going to quit getting high. Every day I was going to sell drugs one more time and then stop. And that went on for years, like literally years. I was quitting every day,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, everybody's miracle is different. It could be a stable family life, like you said, or it could be freaking
mental peace.
It could be yeah, it could be that, or it could be fucking getting signed to a record label if you're a music. Like everybody's miracle is gonna be different. I do want to read a comment, Sabrina's comment, really quick. And I figured that's what you meant to say, Sabrina, but she said, I'm going to read it for everybody. She says, hey, I definitely want to confess something I noticed. Day before yesterday, I was at a get-together party, and I was only going to have one drink. Keep in mind, I had addiction with getting high and other substances, not alcohol. I ended up drinking more and more, and I felt like I didn't want to stop. I'm accepting that I really can't drink, and it is not for me. It's just so she meant to say I meant to say I'm accepting and I'm not drinking anymore.
The first step would have been not going there.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, if I go there, I'm gonna drink.
Everybody's everybody's different. So you definitely hit the nail on the head by recognizing.
Yeah.
You recognized, you may have recognized after the fact, but you did recognize that, I drank way too much, and I didn't want to stop, and it might be a problem. And like, I'm in the same boat, Sabrina. Alcohol was never my problem. I never did it. I never had an issue. I can go to dinner, I can have a beer, I could do whatever. No issue for me. But you get me in a certain social setting and I start drinking, I ain't going to stop. So even if and I will tell people I'm with, I would, not like I said, not anymore, but like when I used to, I tell people I'm with, y'all need to cut me off at this point because I'm not going to stop. And the next thing you know, I didn't get cut off and I'm blacked out and I got kicked out of the bar and this, that, and the third. And I got to a point where it was just like, yeah, maybe this isn't. So I avoid those certain situations personally. Now, Sabrina, you may, she says, I thought I could handle, but I can't. So you may now know that that can't be your surrounding. You know, Maddie says he can't go at all. That may or may not be the truth for you. But at the end of the day, though, like, I know, like, if I go to dinner with Brianna, I can have one drink. I'm good. That's not a situation that I'm going to be getting freaking blackout drunk on. Now, if I'm going to a party, you get together, they're pouring shots, just like Sabrina said, that's a whole, nah, because I just can't. So I won't put myself in that type of situation.
Yeah. My most knowledgeable advice, and I'm not a genius, but so I can, in my opinion, I don't consider that a relapse. I consider that a lapse because it was one time. And in my opinion, when you have a lapse, that a lapse is something that you use as a learning tool.
And we definitely are going to talk about one live. We are going to talk about a lapse versus a relapse, because there's a big thing in the recovery community about that.
Yeah, and this is just my opinion. Other people might think differently, but a relapse is when you relapse back into addictive behaviors. And a lapse is when you slip up, like you're in the wrong place at the wrong time and you slip up. And then you go home, and the next day you analyze everything that happened that led up to that situation where you drank that first drink. And then you learn from it and you realize, like, how can I not put myself in this position again?
Yeah. No. I mean, you know, everybody said it different. You know, Steph even said use, abuse, and dependency are very different things. And absolutely, Brianna says it the best. Not everybody that uses abuses. And that doesn't mean, you know, that's just not everybody that uses something abuses it. And that's a whole nother conversation in itself, you know? Yeah, she said that night when everything was over, I felt really depressed about it and messed up in the head. Well, again, first, I commend you on actually realizing the problem, and that, you know, it was a problem, and that you feel some sort of guilt or remorse about it. So it's definitely something that got you. The biggest thing I would say, if you're ever in that type of environment, accountability. You have to have it. And if ain't nobody, if there's no accountability, then don't even put yourself in that situation. You know, no.
I just feel like, oh, I forget what I was going to say. No, I have these like moments where I'm like, crap, what was I going to say? I had it and then I just lost it.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying accountability at the end of the day.
Yeah, I forget.
If you so I'm gonna scroll back into comments though too. So Steph, we were talking about don't stop before the miracle. She said the miracle was the day I realized if I was dying, I would want to die in recovery and not go back out, because what was the point? So again, everybody's miracle is something completely different. It could be something to that extreme, or it could just be, you know, like you said, mental peace or sobriety or having having family. You figured it out?
Yeah. I was gonna say the worst thing that you can do after a lapse is beat yourself down. You know, I feel like anybody that has legitimately went through addiction has relapsed at some point, or wanted to stop at some point and couldn't, you know. And a lot of us, like, you know, me, I would beat myself down, and then I would feel more shame and guilt, you know, which would drive me to use again. You know, if you can look at it like in a positive aspect, like, it was actually a good thing that happened, because now I can analyze what happened, you know, and now I know I can be stronger, you know.
Yeah.
For
yeah. Steph says slip, lapse, and relapse are very different, regardless of what some fellowships say. The DSMV clearly defines it for psychological means. I stay away from fellowships for the very reason. I don't knock anybody that does it. It just doesn't work for me. I just doesn't align with myself. And then Sabrina said, I'm coming off a medication with bipolar, so it made it freaking worse. I am definitely staying away from get-togethers with drinking. Good choice. Good choice. All right. So what are some other tools for shifting our perspective? Catching negative self-talk, flipping it, surrounding yourself with positive influences, accountability. That's kind of where that goes back. Again, it goes hand in hand. And then choosing. This is a big one. This is a very big one. Choosing response over reaction. Choosing response over reaction.
I struggle with this.
Listen, me too. Me too. Brianna does it too. We do it. We just get in our feelings and we get pissed off and we respond. Yeah. We react. Actually, we don't respond. We react before we can respond. And yes. And unfortunately, as everybody knows, even though you say, well, it was in the heat of a moment, when you say a word, it's already been said. We can't take that back. So unfortunately, I'm sorry I said it. I only said it because I was mad and I wasn't thinking. Well, we said it. We already said it and it already cut deep. So that is a very, very big one on how we're shifting our perspective. We have to slow it down, allow our brain to respond before we react. Because if we do it backwards, it's just going to end in complete chaos for us.
Yeah, man.
So we have to stop, bro. Like, I mean, even if it's like if Rihanna and I get in a fight, like I know sometimes we want to keep going, but it's like, stop, walk away, give yourself time to calm down. Trust me, it's not always the easiest thing to do in the world. I've tried to get better at it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, I ain't perfect with it, but that's definitely something I have to keep working on.
Yeah, this recovery thing is a continuous thing, and, I have a lot of things that I struggle with, and impulsivity is definitely my top one. I think it was, I posted about it actually the other night, and somebody commented and said, count to 3 before you talk or react. Take 3 seconds to think about what you're going to say before you say it. Yep. And I've actually been using that a little bit. And, it's really helpful, like, cause I'm so used to just in the moment, just going. I spent my whole life doing that, so that's definitely something that I've been really trying to work on, is just slowing myself down, because the anxiety, it gets your mind going and stuff. And to just breathe and meditate and just slow down, right. It helps a lot. Another tool that I actually learned in rehab, I didn't realize how beneficial it is. Like going to the gym, because everybody's so focused on the trauma and the mental health and like the emotional part, but they don't think about the physical part. Because like when you go to the gym and you work out, or you go kayaking and you're using your muscles and stuff, it boosts like your endorphins, and it boosts the chemicals in your brain, so like working out is, definitely a huge one. I struggle with that too, but unless I go out to perform. But yeah, that's definitely something that I personally have been trying to push myself to do.
Yeah. Would it be wrong because I say because you're fat?
Yeah.
I'm so fucking joking.
I'm freaking skinny, bro. I'm like 185.
Oh shit. Drew happens to walk in or right when I call you fat.
Oh, of course. He always comes in at the freaking wrong time.
Oh, I'm joking, man. I gotta give you shit. That's my impulse from last time.
Yeah. See?
No, I was going back. So Steph said that she uses the STOP method, which is stop, think, options, proceed. I've actually never heard that. I've never heard of that, but I'm gonna have to options, proceed. So yeah, we're stopping. We're thinking about again reaction versus response, and then we proceed.
Ooh, I'm using that. That's good. I'm gonna write that.
Yeah.
Screenshotting that.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry. Let me go back.
You
got it?
Missed it. No, hold on.
Okay.
All right, I got it. Stop.
Sabrina,
proceed.
Sabrina says, I used to hate people walking away, like getting it over with then and there. It was a lot of trauma with the 4-year abusive relationship I was in, but in my marriage now, I'm so much better with coping. Yo, that was hard. That was hard for me, Sabrina, too. Because in my last, when I was married previously, whenever we would fight, I would want to walk away because I want to cool down before I would stop saying something, or before I would say something I didn't mean. And she would pick. And then I'd just turn around and just blow up. So, and then I was like, well, shit, like, all right, am I walking away? Is that making it worse? Or do I need to actually sit here and actually talk about it? And then I found out that sometimes talking about it in the heat of the moment isn't the best option either. So, I guess it all depends. I don't know. That's something like with your partner, that's definitely has to be line of boundaries on like, if we get to this point of no return, do we want to continue talking or do we want to walk away and not get offended that we walked away? Because we kind of know that that's what we need. Not everybody's on that same perspective though.
I'm going to be really brutally honest right now. I don't know how many people are watching, but I'm going to be brutally honest. It's hard. I struggle with communication because I don't like, and I hope somebody learns something from this. I struggle with communication because I don't like to be vulnerable. So when I have to get into a deep conversation about right and wrong, it's really hard for me to open up. Or if somebody comes at me the wrong way, I used to get angry and explode and fight. I shut down, because I don't want to be vulnerable, so
what's up, Danny?
I think that's one of the biggest issues in relationships is being able to be vulnerable, to communicate with how you really feel inside. Because if you can't, if I've been fighting this a long time, working on it. I work on it with my counselor every week. If you can't be vulnerable, then how can you have a relationship if you can't fully open yourself up and just tell people how you truly feel, sympathetically and empathetically? So yeah, that has been a problem for a long time for me because of like the childhood and everything. I've been working through that for a long time, vulnerability.
Right. I mean, it's all about, again, it all ties right back into perspective. It's like, you can have one perspective on something and your partner can have a completely other perspective on something. And it can create some chaos because, one's on one track, one's on the other track. I think working together, trying to find a happy medium and like, and actually work it out instead of like at each other's throats. Let's work through us having a different point of view, a different perception.
It's like
we may never see eye to eye on the same thing, but why don't we try to meet in the middle and then let's talk about it. So, hey, what's up, Dan? Appreciate you hopping on, brother. Steph says, sometimes I'll literally say, I'm not done with this, but if I speak on it now, I may say things without meaning. So I'm going to walk away, but trust we're going to revisit this.
Yeah, and a lot of us, I mean, dude, like, I'm just being real on here. Like, I'm not gonna fake and act like I'm perfect. Like, fuck, what was I gonna say? See, I do that all the time. I just blank out.
You're I don't even shit. I don't even know what else to say.
So like a lot of us have like, you know, a lot of us have validation issues.
Yeah.
So it makes it hard to, say she has validation issues, but you have validation issues also. So she wants you to validate her, but but you want her to validate you. So it's like, a lot of times it ends up in a fight of validation. I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me, but I'm not willing to hear you because my point is right and your point is not, and we both feel the same way. And that's why I say like being vulnerable and empathetic and sympathetic.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then that's like, I think that's why they say like you have to love yourself fully before you be in a relationship, because you have to be able to validate the other person.
Yeah. They my friend that I was telling you about that passed away, Chuck, he always had this quote, and I always hated when he would say it to me because I knew he was right. But um seek to understand, not to be understood. And he would say that. Seek to understand, not to be understood. So instead of that validation, you need to validate me and I need to validate you. Okay, we need to seek to understand, not to be understood.
You got to
And
remember, it's
so
not. Go ahead.
it's not about.
We got to remember, it's not. The world does not revolve around me.
And that's not always a easy, not that, but that the seek to understand, not to be understood. That's not an easy thing sometimes to do, because you're in the moment, you're in the heat of moment, you want to say it. But I'd call him and I was like, I'd tell him a situation and that's what he had said, and I'm like, you're a fucking asshole, but you're right. You're an asshole, but you're right. I don't want to hear it, but you're right. Just like, bro, I ain't nowhere near perfect. I ain't nowhere near perfect, and I'll never be anywhere near perfect, but I'm trying. I try. And that's all we can do as humans is try. So if we just try and always try to be better the next day than we were the previous day, that's all we can do, bro. That's literally all we can do. So at the end of the day is what, we just got to react, not react. We have to respond. We have to think of that, slow it down. And I really, really like that. I really like that quote, of
understand.
But of just reacting versus responding.
So,
yeah. So it's just like, so anyways, I always like to challenge people, and we don't always have to talk about it, but I always like to challenge people when we talk about stuff like this, so, what's one thing in your life that you need to see differently? And I want y'all to think about that and work towards that. Yeah. What's one thing in your life that you need to see different and work towards that?
Yeah. Give us something to talk about.
You ain't gotta like comment, whatever, but just work towards that, and then, we change our perception all the time and we see a better result. It may not always be the result we want it to be, but when we stop to slow it down and we start to think about it, we're like, oh yeah, this is way better than what I was seeing it prior, And again, that goes back hand in hand with when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that, I like that. I like that quote. I'm going to keep that. At the end of the day, we just got to flip our perspective in each situation. I don't have to work on anything. I'm perfect. Yes, babe, you are perfect. Hey, Amanda, what's going on? Oh, no, I gotta see. Look at this. She says she's perfect. Yeah, we went yesterday and got engagement photos done. It was cold as fuck. It was freezing cold outside, so we had no jackets. Oh yeah, bro, it was like 30 degrees yesterday, and we were freaking. We were yeah, it was cold.
It was nice. It's been nice out here in PA.
Well, yeah, it was cold, man, out here where we were, and it was like, man, it was freezing cold for sure. Like my ears felt like they were gonna fall off. It was wild, but it was a good experience for sure. I don't know why I thought about that. When she commented, I just thought I'd bring it up.
I hope you're okay with this, but I just thought of this. So me and Jared are getting ready to work on a piece of content. And
I can't believe you're saying this, Maddie.
No, so we're getting ready to work on a piece of content, and we kind of have an idea of what we're gonna do. It's just gonna be like a reel, like a back and forth, something inspirational about like addiction recovery. Does anybody have like a theme that they would like us to do as a piece of content that you think would be inspirational?
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get everybody involved, and
yeah, I think the one we talked about yesterday is definitely going to be a good one, but we definitely need to get a couple more ideas for some other shit. I keep hitting this thing. Some other ones.
Dude, I like doing stuff for like I like doing stuff for like people that support, because it makes them feel, like included, and also, it can be something that they need help with, that we can put something together that might help what they're trying to work on or whatever, like that's what it's all about,
Yeah. Sounds like that'll be cool. What sounds like that'll be cool, babe? Amanda was just going to say congratulations. Thank you, Amanda. So yeah, that kind of wraps up with like what I'm talking, with what I was talking about as far as about mind over matter. So yeah, guys, just go change your fucking mentality, change your perspective, and then if that video, yeah. Oh, yeah, you heard about it. Oh yeah, that one that we were talking, because you were on speaker yesterday when we were talking about that. Yeah, so change your mentality, and on that one thing that you've been struggling with that you need to change your perspective on, do it, and then let me know about that, because I think that'd be really cool. I have a website for people that did not catch Friday's live, jaredblainemusic.com, MUZIK.com. Go check it out. That's where I have all my music. That's where I have tour dates, event dates. Oh. Sorry, just being sarcastic.
What? I can't.
I only heard what he was. Remember, you got to hit comments. I only heard what he was saying. I had no clue what it was for. Now that I know, sounds dope. I think you're okay. Yeah, so go check it out. That has all the music on it. That has everything on it. It has the link to my merch site as well. Both of those are at in these comments. If you scroll up, depending on when you joined, they're in here. Go check it out. To book me, to follow, to listen to music, for merch, it's all on jaredblainemusic.com. And then obviously follow Maddie Ice 1990, follow Jared Blaine, follow Outlaw Branding, follow my lovely fiance, Brianna Elizabeth. She might hate me for saying that, but go follow her. Can you see the comments now?
Yeah, I just looked.
Yeah. You remember, you figured that out Friday. You had to click comment.
Bro, I went like 5 lives without knowing how to look at
without knowing what it was.
And it was
this one will be cool. The content that we're gonna do. Shit, sorry. This room is so small, and right behind me is the mic. Bro, I told you before, I got these new in-ear monitors, and this is fucking, they keep adjusting. I have to adjust them in my ears. At least you didn't call me your wife. Well, you are my future wife, so yeah. You got to deal with that.
I would like the last piece of content I started. The content, I would like you to start first this time.
Okay, I got the perfect idea on how to start that too.
Okay, yeah, I want you to start it so it's like back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got the perfect idea. So, all right, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll connect after this. Wow, I seen all the viewers just hopped off right before. I mean, they're still there, but it was like start dropping.
Oh,
like Jesus.
Like, oh man, we're getting boring now, I guess.
No. All right. So Wednesday, guys, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Community night, game night. Babe, come up and grab the milk after. Yes, I will. Community night, game night. That's just our midweek hangout. That's where we chill, we hang out, we vibe. We try not to offend each other, and we just all hang out. Why do you look away? Why do you look
away? No, dude, I've been being good, bro.
You have. Well, anyways, we just hang out, we play games, we have fun, we relax. And then Friday, guys, Hollow drops. Technically, it drops Thursday night at midnight. So Friday morning, it'll be available. Because no, I'm not talking about offending you. Nope, I'm talking about
you can explain to her why we're laughing about what I told you before we
got on. Yeah, no.
I wasn't laughing at her. I was laughing about that.
You can say it. You want to say it?
No, okay. I'm extremely impulsive, and sometimes I say stupid things at the wrong time. And I said something like just something stupid. And I felt so guilty all night. Like, I couldn't sleep. I was like, man, I feel so bad. Like, it bothered me all night. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So he's trying to.
It wasn't anything bad. It was just, it was something dumb.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm talking about the people that, like, the Christians that come on, they're like, I can't believe you're playing this game and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, nah, I'm sorry, but, anyways, yeah, Hollow, it drops. It'll be available first thing midnight when you wake up Friday. It's there. We'll drop the pre-save link again. It is for the pre-save link I have is for Spotify. So if you rock with Spotify, pre-save it. It lets Spotify know that you want to hear music from us. It helps get us on playlists, etc. If you don't have Spotify, that's okay. Once it drops, it'll be available on all platforms, and you guys can stream it on your favorite platform, share it out, tag us. I love it. I'm super stoked. We did do a sample. I did do a when was it? Friday or last Friday? I think it was Friday before. That I showed the little snippet of it. So
yeah.
So, but anyways, go check it out. Super stoked. I'm glad. Once I hop off here, I'm going to get some milk, and then I'm coming back. I am coming back after getting milk, guys. I don't just get milk and never come back. If you get the reference to that joke.
And I don't care what Jared says. We are doing a music video for Hollow. So
we are doing a music video. Yes, we are going to link up. We're going to do it. It's going to take a little bit of time because I want that to be a good video. The last music video I shot, imagine we did it in 2 weeks. We did 2 weekends. So we're going to do that. And then, but yeah, and then I'm about to hop on the mic here in a little bit. I got a song with Matt Keegan I got to finish up. Super stoked for that. That'll probably drop in the next few weeks. And yeah, man, that's it. So again, appreciate all of you guys rocking with us tonight. Thank you for all the love and the support. Go check the website out, jaredblainemusic.com. Merch site is attached to that. Go cop some merch. Follow Matty Ice 1990, Outlaw Branding, Jared Blaine, Brianna Elizabeth. And until next time, we are going to sign off. So we love you guys. Remember, change your mentality.
So are you coming back after your milk?
I'm coming back after my milk. I promise, guys.
All right, so I should stay on. All right, I'll stay on.
Dad's not going to run off getting milk. It's okay.
All right.
Later, guys.
I'm so dumb.